You want to win now. The timing is now. Ryan Poles has done a phenomenal job in stockpiling talent. There's no issue when it comes to talent right now in Chicago.
Today should be a fantastic program. There's a lot of things that are taking place around the NFL still on like this 4th or 5th day of the free agency period being opened on Monday during the tampering period. We're in a new league year, so there's a lot of salary cap moves. We thought the Chargers were potentially done. Keenan Allen's now a Chicago Bear.
Whoa. Said his defense has a lot of great pieces here for sure, especially in the secondary. Obviously, just signed Jalen to a big extension. I really think highly of him. He's a really great player. And obviously, you know, getting with Brisker, Jaquan, I think he's a really good extended player as well.
Man, Ryan Poles has absolutely done it again. Coming off an offseason last year where they did such a good job building up this roster, bringing in guys like TJ Edwards, Tremaine Edmonds, right? Drafting Gervon Dexter and Zach Pickens, bringing in some more talent and DJ Moore, right? They did so good last year, and now they one-upped it. I mean, how are they doing this? You talk about bringing in Keenan Allen, a star wide receiver, a brand new starting center in Coleman Shelton, DeAndre Swift having the best year of his life in Philadelphia, getting him this offseason, and then adding a turnover machine in Kevin Byard, and also making some other moves as well, right? OMG, dude. In this video, we're going to break down everything you need to know about what Ryan Poles and the Chicago Bears have done this offseason, but more importantly, why I think they're about to take the NFL by storm and become the NFL's biggest nightmare. However, there still are some big question marks left that are undecided. We're going to talk about it all in this video. Before we jump in, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, it's free, but also comment down below a letter grade for their offseason so far. With that being said, let's jump right in. Now, I think the first thing you notice when you talk about Keenan Allen and what he brings to the Chicago Bears is, quite frankly, the best route runner in the NFL. Now, when you look at his stats over the past maybe like 7 or so years, he has over 100 catches in 5 out of those 7 seasons. But also has over 1,000 yards in 5 of those 7 seasons as well. And then you look at the game or the years he didn't get 100 catches. 2022, he was hurt, only played 10 games. 2018, he was just 3 shy of 100 catches. But in those years, pretty much all going over 100 catches. Also, when you look at his career stats, over 900 receptions, 10,500 yards, 59 touchdowns, averaging 11.6 yards per catch. The man has been different. And then we take a look at the updated depth chart, right? You needed some wide receiver depth, right? All you had was DJ Moore, Tyler Scott, and Velus Jones. You needed to bring in someone else, but bringing in Keenan Allen, the best route runner over the past decade, is insanity, right? So not only do you pair him up with Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, but now the big question offensively is, who will the quarterback be? Now, the big news is, well, who is the quarterback going to be? And right away, the question is already answered. The Bears just traded Justin Fields to the Pittsburgh Steelers, right? For a 6th-round draft pick, could it turn into a 4th? But what that means is Caleb Williams is coming to Chicago to pair up with DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and everything else they've done to this offense. I mean, you bring in DeAndre Swift, we'll talk about him in a little bit. Coleman Shelton, Keenan Allen is going to be a dog with DJ Moore. Now Caleb Williams, man, I am excited for this football team. You also talk about Gerald Everett, who is a field-stretching, seam-to-seam tight end who could be, very, very, has great playmaking ability. You add some depth with Matt Pryor and Ryan Bates in the O-line. Man, Caleb Williams is on his way to the Chicago Bears. Lock it in, boys. Let's go. Actually, real quickly, I do want to show you this quick clip of, Keenan Allen at his press conference, and I'm going to show you what he said about the Chicago Bears. This is something you want to see.
We can be really special. Like you said, you got weapons, you got guys who can beat man all over the field. So double teaming one guy is going to be costly for the defense, and I think we can, use that as our advantage. And like having a running back that can come out of the backfield, make plays, and beat one-on-ones. That's kind of big.
Now, guys, before we get any further, we're going to talk about DeAndre Swift. We're going to talk about Kevin Byard a little bit as well. Before we get into that, do me a big favor. Hit the like button. If this video gets up to 400 likes, we will drop a part 2 as well as drop non-stop coverage of the Chicago Bears for the rest of the offseason, including trades, signings, draft picks, everything you could think of. Make sure you guys subscribe. It is free. Doesn't cost anything. Like I said, We got you guys covered from here on out. Join the family. Let's get right back into the video. Now, DeAndre Swift is a very interesting running back, especially to add here to Chicago. You know, they had Khalil Herbert, they had Roschon Johnson, Dante Foreman. You don't want a three-headed running back. You want one guy that can do a bunch of different things, right? Because that makes you unpredictable. And in the NFL, unpredictability is very, very important. Last season, the Bears still had one of the best rush offenses in football, but now DeAndre Swift makes them even more dynamic. Let's talk a little bit more about him. Now, DeAndre Swift started off his career in Detroit for 3 seasons, but then went to the Philadelphia Eagles where he got his largest workload. Now, over 220 carries for over 1,000 yards and 5 touchdowns. Now, as you see here, has never had under 5 touchdowns in just 1 season, but also is averaging 4.6 yards per carry, including 2022, where he averaged about 5.5 yards per carry. So right away, we know he's someone that can make guys miss in the open field. 4.6 yards per carry is relatively good, and last year, if you didn't realize, right, let's go back here, they ranked number 6 in yards per carry at that 4.5 mark. So basically, you're even getting better with DeAndre Swift. But not only can he run the football, he can also catch as well. Look at this, 39 catches, 48 catches, 62 catches. If you want to throw him the football, you can, right? He's been, reliable in the receiving game, and I think he's someone that makes him extremely more versatile. Only 10 incompletions when throwing to DeAndre Swift over 49 targets. That is really good. DeAndre Swift turns his running back room upside down and makes them not only more dynamic, but more versatile as well in terms of unpredictability. And you have Khalil Herbert and Roschon Johnson as bench guys. This is huge. DeAndre Swift is such a good upgrade. And then they added a guy in Coleman Shelton. Looks like he could be their starting center full-time, right? Now look at this tweet here from PFF Chicago Bears. Over 229 pass blocking snaps, 34 QB pressures allowed, 2 sacks allowed, and 72.6 run blocking grade. Guys, the thing about this, right? 34 QB pressures and 629 snaps, not too bad. But when we go back to their statistics, right? They ranked number 26 in QB sack percentage, as well as, pretty good offensively in terms of running the football. Shelton, or Coleman Shelton, is a guy who will step right in and be your starting center. You also bring in a guy in Ryan Bates, you bring in Matt Pryor, you bring in 3 new offensive linemen that can really help bring depth, but also bring starting energy. Last year, Chicago Bears offense was banged up bad, and they had to start some guys that they weren't really too confident in, but now you have Braxton Jones, you have Tevin Jenkins, you have Coleman Shelton, who is your day 1 starter, Nate Davis, who they brought from Tennessee, I believe, last offseason, and then you drafted Darnell Wright. This offensive line is slowly getting better and better. I mean, 3 out of 5 of these guys are really, really young. And to be honest, Colton Shelton is a guy who is only 28 years old, right? He's a guy that can make a difference on this football team. And I think this is going to be another huge addition to what the Bears are trying to do next year. And then you talk about a guy in Kevin Byard who can come over here, be a veteran, a leader, but also can help develop a guy like Jaquan Brisker as well. And when you look at their defense from last season, they desperately needed help in a ton of different areas, right? They also re-signed Jalen Johnson to a major extension. The Bears are going all in. They want to turn this football team around. And Kevin Byard, yes, he's getting up there in age, but a guy who can really, really help out this football team as of right now. Let's get into Kevin Byard. Now, the one thing about Kevin Byard I love is there was a stretch over maybe 4, 5, 6 seasons where he was one of the best safeties in football and one of the most underrated as well. Now, what I want you guys to focus at here is these interceptions, right? 2017, 8, 4, 5, 5, 4, right? Interception monster, a playmaker on the defensive side of the football. However, in 2023, played 6 games with Tennessee and then was traded to the Philadelphia Eagles, where he did get 1 interception for them. However, right, a little bit of a down year, which made him a little bit expendable, and they want to get rid of him, let him walk in free agency. But now the Bears get a guy who is, yes, 30 years old, 5'11", but a absolute playmaker. Now, when we go to the Bears defense last season, they were the best team in the NFL in turning over the football. The Bears didn't want that to change one bit, and quite frankly, it didn't. When you look at the defense, you still have Jalen Johnson, you still have Jaquan Brisker, you still have the young guys in Tyreek Stevenson and Kyler Gordon, but now you have a guy in Kevin Byard who will pick that up to another level. I know you lose Eddie Jackson, but if you looked at the rankings according to PFF, Kevin Byard is so much better or not so much better, but is more consistent and better overall than Eddie Jackson is and was. Kevin Byard, this is an unbelievable addition to a team defensively who desperately need it. Number 32 in sack percentage, number 25 in pass yards per game allowed, number 24 in completion percentage allowed. Kevin Byard, absolute stud. I know he's getting up there in age, but a perfect fit for Chicago. Now, this video is getting relatively long, so I do kind of want to stop it around this area. There's still so much to talk about in terms of Caleb Williams. Is Caleb Williams going to be the next quarterback of the Chicago Bears? Comment down below yes or no. But also, they add Gerald Everett. Guys, like I said, if you want a part 2, I'll break down Gerald Everett, Matt Pryor, Ryan Bates, Brett Ripien if you guys want to see a little bit of him. But also, this man right here, I think could be a baller for them next season. A special teamer, but also has a lot of potential as a linebacker. Obviously, you could tell they needed the depth. And then Jonathan Owens as well. There's so much that they've done, right? And they're going to continue to add to this team. Also expecting big years out of Zach Pickens and Gervon Dexter, former second and third round picks of last season. I think Ryan Poles has so much confidence in these two guys alone that they're probably going to take over the nose and the D tackle position for them next season. You also bring back, Montez Sweat, a guy you traded for. Did not mean to do that. But we also think about them trading Chase Young, right? The Commanders traded Chase Young last year, and now they're gone. Chase Young's a free agent. He might go elsewhere. Montez Sweat is back for the time being. He's going to be here for a long time. Then you got DeMarcus Walker. Love the linebacker starters here with TJ Ward's, Tremaine Edmonds, and even Jack Sanborn as well. They've done such a good job. And then the secondary, just talked about that, man. They're doing amazing, right? The big thing right now, quarterback, Caleb Williams, Justin Fields, tough decision coming up here, but they will have to make it. Probably have to add some more wide receiver depth here. Don't really trust Colin Johnson or Nisimba Webster too much. Dante Pettis, right? Hopefully you have some faith in Felix Jones, but man, Keenan and DJ Moore should be fun. I really want to break down Gerald Everett, but like I said, next video we'll do that. Hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, comment down below saying part 2 if you guys want the part 2 video. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next Chicago Bears breakdown, which should be really, really soon, man. I'm excited to see how this team really develops and takes that next jump up. Number 19 in offensive points per game and number 19 in defensive points per game. I feel like this is going to be a video we look back at and be like, wow, what an upgrade. One thing we do know is that their run offense and run defense was amazing, but the most important thing in football right now is passing the football, man. We're in a passing era, and they couldn't do it or stop it. So hopefully that changes, and here we go, man. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.